Hello and thank you. My name is Oscar Villarreal. I'm a lieutenant with the Texas Department of Public Safety. As we begin today, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speakers. First will be Chief Brian Harvey with the Allen Police Department. Then we will have Special Agent in charge of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Chad Yarbrough. And then summarizing things at the end will be our Regional Director, Hank Sibley with the Texas Department of Public Safety, before we begin our Spanish translation.
Well, when this community was attacked on May 6th, the Allen Police Department responded along with many others from the North Texas law enforcement community. That included both police and fire. Our community also responded with an overwhelming show of support for the victims' families, and public safety, and we are grateful and thank you. One particular officer distinguished himself in an exemplary manner, demonstrating tremendous bravery when he immediately addressed an attacker that was injuring and murdering innocent victims. We know our community would like to thank and honor him. However, we're not prepared to release that officer's name due to the ongoing investigation. And the officer has also expressed his appreciation for his privacy as he continues to process this tragic event. There were many other heroic life-saving efforts conducted by our officers and the fire department. We plan to recognize them in the future. And we also must acknowledge the bravery of Allied Security Guard Christian LaCour, who evacuated one individual to safety and was shot while courageously remaining to help others. The immediate support of multiple local, county, state, and federal agencies is so numerous, it will be challenging to thank each one individually. Each one of them was critical to the safe evacuation of the site and stabilization efforts. Thanks to the swift assistance of all these agencies, we have now officially concluded the actions at the Allen Premium Outlets and turned the site back over to property management. The reopening of the stores at the outlets will be determined by management and store owners. We know our Allen community and many, many others are feeling the deep weight of grief from this tragedy, and we are heartbroken over the 8 victims that were lost, the others who were wounded, and the hundreds of people who experienced this traumatic event firsthand. Members of our department and victim services units from the FBI, the Department of Public Safety, and the Collin County District Attorney's Office will continue to work closely with members of our community who are requesting victims and/or mental health services. In the coming days, members of the police department will continue to work closely with the FBI, DPS, and Texas Rangers to thoroughly investigate this tragedy. We have relied heavily on the agencies here today, the Department of Public Safety, the Texas Rangers, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. My request to you today, as the media, is to continue to help publicize our Victim Counseling and Family Assistance Fund. Those 2 opportunities that can make a tremendous difference in these individuals' lives, and it is listed on the Allen City website. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to the FBI Special Agent in charge, Chad Yarbrough. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Chad Yarbrough. I'm the Special Agent in charge of the Dallas FBI Field Office. First and foremost, on behalf of the FBI, I want to begin by expressing my deepest condolences to the victims, to the families and loved ones of those murdered and injured in this vicious attack this past Saturday at the Allen Premium Outlets. We recognize the fear and heartache that occurs when heinous acts of violence are committed, and the devastating impact it has on the people and the community. Since our arrival to the scene on Saturday, the FBI has devoted significant resources to assist in the investigation of what occurred in Allen. Those resources include investigative personnel, intelligence, digital forensics, and victim services, just to name a few. The FBI is currently analyzing electronic devices and digital media connected to the suspect at our North Texas Regional Computer Forensic Laboratory. There's still a lot to be done in this investigation, and we will continue to thoroughly review this material and share with the investigative team. The FBI's Victim Services Response Team has been deployed with over 20 specially trained personnel to work and collaborate alongside the Allen Police Department, the Texas Department of Public Safety's Victim Services, and the Collin County District Attorney's Office, as well as other state and community organizations to provide essential support and assistance to those impacted by this unimaginable tragedy. Strong, well-established relationships with our law enforcement partners and community members have been indispensable to this response and investigation, and we cannot thank our partners enough for their steadfast commitment and unyielding efforts to help others. As of yesterday, the Victim Services Team and community partners have been able to provide resources and services to over 30 families, which consists to over 100 individuals. And over the past 2 days, FBI personnel and community partners have escorted close to 1,100 people to retrieve their abandoned vehicles in the parking lots in the vicinity of the shooting. If you were present on Saturday at the Allen Premium Outlets, we encourage you to visit the Family Assistance Center at the Allen Senior Recreational Center at 451 St. Mary Drive here in Allen. In addition, personal effects that were left outside the retail stores have been collected and can also be retrieved at this location. It will be open today and tomorrow from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. Victims are not just those who are physically injured, but also those who were present and may be experiencing emotional distress. We ask that you continue to respect the privacy of the victims affected by this tragedy. We are aware of multiple fake online fundraisers that are currently underway for the victims. Please properly vet any charity or fundraiser before donating money to ensure that it reaches the proper victims. And there's a list of those properly vetted charities on the Allen website. We are also still seeking information from the public. If you are at the Allen Premium Outlets and have information, we ask that you please call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Our focus in the coming days will continue to be providing aid and comfort to our victims, as well as working with our law enforcement partners on the criminal investigation that is ongoing. Our thoughts and prayers continue to be with all those who have been so severely impacted by this terrible tragedy. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Hank Sibley. I am the North Texas Regional Director for the Texas Department of Public Safety. First, I'd like to express the condolences on the part of the state of Texas and the men and women of the Texas Department of Public Safety for the loss of the victims that died in that horrific crime that occurred at the Allen Outlet Mall on Saturday. We cannot begin to fathom the pain and the time it will take to recover from this, but our prayers are with you. I would also like to commend the response on Saturday. The response to the mall shooting was stellar. We are so blessed that an Allen police officer who took the appropriate action did what he did when he did it. He undoubtedly saved countless lives. If he hadn't been there, I think we'd had a much more severe situation. On top of that, the agencies that responded, the local agencies, sheriff's office, other PDs, the fire department, everybody did what they were supposed to do and responded to the scene. From the DPS perspective, we had Texas Highway Patrol troopers on the scene within minutes. We dispatched our Texas Rangers to assist with the shooting investigation, and ultimately the Rangers have taken over the lead in the investigation. In addition, we had our SRT teams, aircraft, and now to this point we have our victim services counselors on the ground. I will tell you that Governor Abbott, through my director, Steve McCraw, reached out immediately and said, whatever needs to be done to support the city of Allen in this horrific time, to do it. All state resources have been committed to this effort. The Texas Rangers have been tasked and been put in lead in this investigation. It's a very large crime scene, very complex investigation spanning multiple jurisdictions. And the Rangers, along with the local law enforcement agency, Allen PD, and our federal partners, particularly FBI and ATF, are working hand in hand to get the answers. You know, many of the answers are still away from getting to, but some things we do know. We have processed the crime scene. As the chief was saying, and the SAC was saying, we've released the parking lot, 1,100 vehicles. I mean, it was a big scene. We had to clear it. And we've done it in pretty record time. If you think about it, you're only talking less than 72 hours ago this event was occurring. And to be this far down the road, I think, is very commendable on the part of all the parties involved. The cooperation between the agencies has been exceptional, and I think it's a model for the way things should be done in the future. One thing that we do know is after we've identified the shooter, and his name has been made public, he's from the Dallas area, so the FBI, Dallas PD assisted. We ran warrants down on his residence, his actual parents' house, and I believe hotel residence, to see what evidence we could glean from that. The FBI has his computers, cell phones, and other evidence, and they're in the process of trying to do digital forensics, as the SAC mentioned, to go ahead and ascertain what type of evidence we can get off of that. The shooter had no CCH, no criminal history. So he had no documentable criminal history on him. He was in the U.S. Army. That's been posted on the media in 2008. He was in basic training. I think early on in basic training, they realized, from what I've seen, that he was not a fit for the Army, and so they separated him from the Army, before he got out of the training mode. There were some questions, about his fitness for duty. That information will be forthcoming later on as we dig into the investigation. He also had a private security license in the state of Texas. Again, he had no criminal history, and the license has expired. I understand he worked as a security guard for several firms, but he was not an active security guard at the time of this. He had 8 weapons with him. He had 3 on his person, and he had 5 in his vehicle. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms has run traces on all the weapons. All of the weapons were legally obtained by the shooter. None of them were stolen, anything else. And now we're running checks on them to see if they were used in any crimes. But at this time, we haven't uncovered anything in that regard. The big question that we're dealing with right now is, what's his motive? Why did he do this? Well, the big question is, we don't know. That's what the investigation is trying to find out. We do know that he had neo-Nazi ideation. He had patches, he had tattoos, even his signature, verified that. That's one thing we do know. We are trying to get into his computer and on social media and find out, whether he had anything that he'd publicized or been out. We're looking around, we're seeing trying to find what he looked at, and trying to get every information we can. This is the ongoing part of the investigation, and we have a situation that once we figure that out, hopefully we figure that out and get definitive about it, we can go public with that down the road. To me, it looks like he targeted the location rather than a specific group of people. He was very random in the people he killed. It didn't matter the age, same race or sex. He just shot people, and which is horrific in itself. As I said before, the investigation is ongoing. The Texas Rangers, FBI, ATF, and Allen PD, as well as any other agencies assisting us, are going to leave no stone unturned to try to identify this motive and try to find out whatever we can. At this time, we think he acted alone. There's no indication he had any Confederates or anybody working with him, but we're also keeping an open mind in that regard too, because you never know. As the FBI SAC mentioned, our victim services, the state of Texas Victim Services, working hand in hand with the city of Allen and the FBI to try to assist these victims to get on the road to getting their lives back to normal. So we're doing what we can, and the information that you need to contact is there. There's also, the state of Texas has a crimes victim compensation fund, and we're also trying to plug the victims into that to help them get their lives right. Okay.